Alrighty, Megan, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak to me about this role off camera. I want to go ahead and kickstart our interview here. And Megan, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your professional experience and tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Megan. I've been in Daytona pretty much my entire life. Moved here from up north. I have two small kids, big in sports, so always busy, constantly juggling many things. I've worked in an environmental lab prior. So basically, I made sure that I had to keep the groups going, meeting whatever production goals that were given, and making sure that we're staying organized while we're doing it.
Amazing. And in going back to the company, right? I want to discuss a little bit about what your day to day looked like. I also want to highlight that you were at this company for about 10 years, right? So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what your day to day looked like. And then also tell me about you growing in the company.
Yeah, so my day to day is coming in. A lot of my job was computer based, different sort of systems,
Mhm.
making sure that we're expecting to have enough volume come in the door that day and how we would accomplish like getting it
Mhm.
all into the system. A lot of data entry, dispatching, 25 shift staff during the day. So a lot of people, a lot of different tasks, a lot of different things that they needed to complete. So I'd get all those organized, schedule meetings, conduct training sessions. And I started there actually in accounting as their business admin reception and moved my way all the way up into client service manager role.
Congrats, that's amazing. And you from your resume, you started as a receptionist and then you worked your way up to client service manager. You mentioned to me off the screen that you're working three shifts, lady.
Yes.
So you endured a lot with your time there. You're fully accessible. Even at midnight and whatnot, they would call you and you would drop everything at a dime, drop of a dime
Absolutely.
and tend to that. So that really shows how loyal and determined you are for your employer. um, I want to discuss more about your receptionist experience. As you mentioned, at Pace, you kind of started as a receptionist. So tell me what that looked like.
A lot of it was travel scheduling for upper management. Anytime anyone from corporate came, the company I worked for was nationwide, so we would always have people coming in and visiting and traveling. So keeping up with the travel ledgers, ensuring that reimbursements are coded correctly, bill pay, of course, anything accounts receivable and payable that you can imagine. I've done it. QuickBooks, any sort of new software system that they would throw at us, corporate changes things. So just adapting and going through those, making sure that the phone calls are answered and we call our guest clients. So when our clients would come through the door, welcoming them, setting them in the right direction, and setting up any sort of conference rooms, any sort of breakfast, meals, lunches, dinners, you name it.
Yep.
Basically, like
Amazing.
personal assisting times 1,000.
That's right. And it sounds like, you work very well under pressure, especially in environment to where it's a receptionist. There's a lot of multitasking, a lot of duties and tasks to complete. So how are you able to maintain organization throughout the day?
So yes, I am one of those very strange people that actually thrive under pressure. I am amazing at keeping many invisible lists in my head, tackling them, accomplishing them typically earlier than whatever the goal or ask was. Making sure if I have to, keeping a list, reminders in my phone, pretty well organized.
Amazing. That's what it takes for organization. I think sometimes it takes someone who can endure that, right?
Yes.
Especially for a role such as, especially if it's going to be in a high-paced environment. So that's amazing, Megan. And as far as looking into a new role, right, in a new company, what are some key values that you look for in the next company that you work with?
Um, just actually, being there, supportive, having more of like a team aspect would be great. Of course, individual work's totally fine. Just having that support system and ensuring that we all have each other's backs and we're really there to, meet a common goal.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, Megan. My last question for you is, when were you looking to start a new position?
As soon as is needed. I can start as early as next week. Kids are back in school, so everything's great.
Awesome, Megan. Well, I appreciate you once again, and thank you so much for all the details you were able to give me as far as your professional experience. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this interview now, Megan, but don't hang up on me. I want to continue chatting with you really quickly off screen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.